Namaste. Welcome to the Soma Matha online Sangha. Join us in practice for inner peace, which brings clarity in life, improving health, relationships, success, and prosperity, and which prepares the mind for true meditation, which awakens intuitive knowing and spiritual sight. Each week we are announcing upcoming events and opportunities to participate in the activities of the Soma Matha organization based near Richmond, Virginia. Led by Swami Gananathamritananda, the Soma Matha is dedicated to spreading authentic teachings on spiritual yoga, mantra, meditation, Ayurveda, and other Vedic sciences for the peace of the world. We are working to build a temple for goddess Shakambhari Devi. Each week we will be sharing a teaching from Swamiji, doing a group mantra practice and meditation, and conducting a simple puja, or prayer ceremony, for the goddess to humbly supplicate her to bestow her blessing upon the Sangha. A Sangha is a spiritual community who come together to support one another in their practice. Each individual gains strength in their practice from the collective effort of the group. Sangha feeds our practice. It nourishes us and empowers our efforts. It smooths and balances the challenges we face as it lifts our consciousness into subtler realms. Namaste. I'm Grant Ottinger. I've been studying with Swamiji for a few years, and he's asked me to lead the Sangha since the internet connection of the property is weak and live broadcast is difficult. Swami will be watching the Sangha and participating in the group practices and sending video teachings to the group each week. To receive, we must give. Our efforts to provide this virtual space and to publish the many free teachings available on the website, YouTube channel, and Facebook pages are dependent upon your support. Please contribute as you are able. We are encouraging all Sangha participants to formalize their connection by becoming Sangha members by pledging their monthly support through the Patreon. There are 5 different tiers of support, so you can contribute according to your ability. All Sangha members will receive access to additional teachings and opportunities for support in their practice offered through Patreon. If you want to deepen your practice and your connection to the Sangha, please visit our Patreon and pledge your support. The link is provided in the description of this live video. Please help us to continue this service to humanity by deepening your spiritual connection and supporting our efforts in whatever ways you are able. So in the news, we are still preparing the property for sale. A sale of the furniture and antiques at the property will be happening soon. It's a large effort to sort through the items left there over the centuries. Volunteers are needed to help us with that, and also to help with the various plants around the property that will be moving to the next property, so people to pot up plants and such, and also helping just to prepare the property itself in general for sale. So if you're interested in volunteering with us, please reach out via the website somamatha.org, linked below. Additionally, over the last year, support for the expenses of the property has withdrawn, and subsequently, for the first time, the expenses of the property are relying entirely upon donations. There are quite a few people helping through the Patreon, but still $1,200 of expenses each month are left. We are still continuing to raise money for moving to a new property, and losing this property is a large setback in our efforts to open a place of worship in Virginia. So far we have raised $19,000 of our total goal of $300,000. Please visit the Help Us Move link in the description of the video for more information. And now we will share a recorded teaching from Swamiji.
Sahatna vavatu Sahatna bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we're talking today on the fifth yama. There are 10 yamas and 10 niyamas according to the Tirumantaram, which was written by the brother monk of Rishi Patanjali. And this is the tradition we're following. Patanjali gives 5 yamas, 5 restraints, and 5 observances that need to be done before we can begin the practice of yoga. Patanjali wrote a short little text. The Yoga Sutras is a synopsis of the subject of yoga. The Tirumantaram was a much more elaborate text. Gave us the details, the practices, the yantras, the mantras, the tantras, and it lists 10 of yamas and niyamas. So this is the 5th, according to Rishi Tirumular. Kshama. Kshama is the Sanskrit, and in English it means patience. We've got to be tolerant. We've got to be patient with situations around us. We've got to be patient with people around us. We don't want to get annoyed. If we're dealing with people who don't know as much as we do, people who are younger, people who are less educated, people who are less intelligent, we've got to be patient. We've got to understand. People are very patient with children. A child could be throwing a temper tantrum, stomping the feet, waving the fists in the air, screaming, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. And people say, oh no, something happened, let's calm that child down. But when a grown adult does this, people get upset, they lose their sense of kshama, patience. They become very judgmental. It reveals the attachments within them. My guru used to say people will get annoyed or upset with people around them when they see those people doing things that they have trouble to face within themselves, that they might do those things under the right circumstances. In a certain given circumstance, they may do that thing, and that's why they judge those people. So I'll share a couple of stories. One time when I was a child, some guy came and robbed me at gunpoint. And when the guy came, he said, give me your wallet. He held the gun sideways because it was cool to hold the gun sideways, I guess, not because it's efficient or easy to aim. And he said, give me your wallet. And so I gave him my wallet. And he was leaving just then. And I said, well, excuse me. You wanted my wallet, but I just got paid at work. I was walking home I was working in a restaurant in those days. And I said, I just got paid. I have a lot of money. Would you like that also? And he said, yes, that's right. You better give that. And so I gave him the money. And then I just genuinely wished him a good night. I said, okay, thank you. Have a good night. And he was like, what? What did you say? I said, have a good night. And he couldn't understand how after taking the money that I would wish for him to have a good night, but I was not upset with him. I knew he must be struggling, having some problems, either some financial problems, or maybe he was under the pressure in some gang or something, and he felt he needed to prove himself to be tough so he could be safe within that surrounding in that aspect of society in which he lived. I didn't have any judgment or I wasn't upset, but I had no greed for money. I had no desire to steal things from people. So it didn't mirror to me anything. And so I was walking to visit one friend on the way home from work, and I stopped at his house, and I said, I was just robbed with a gun. And he said, oh no, well, we should call the police. And I said, why? He's gone, I don't want to get him in trouble. Why should we call the police? And he said, well, you remain calm because you're a very calm person, but what if the next person is not so calm? What if they're more attached to their money and they try not to give it, and he shoots them and he kills them? Really, for the safety of him and for the safety of other people, if he's doing this bad behavior, maybe we should call the police and see if they can prevent this from happening to someone. And I said, well, okay. I wasn't a big fan of the police in those days. I had issues with my own sense of being an authority for myself, so I had issues with authority figures. I thought, who are they to tell me what to do? But I wasn't telling myself to do the right things. I had to become more of a proper authority for myself, to take responsibility for my happiness, and then I could give up that anger toward the authority figures. But so when the police came, already it was an authority figure, and so it was challenging me. I was feeling annoyed before he even got there, but then they got there and they said, okay, well, you were robbed, and how much money did he get from you? And I said, well, he got $500. I was just paid at work, $500. And the policeman then said to me, oh, well, that was very stupid. You should never keep so much money in your wallet. He didn't know the full story that I just told you guys. And so, and he was very disrespectful. He was looking down on me. And I said, yeah, well, you know what? I didn't keep the money in my wallet. I had to call him back to come and get the money because he failed to get the money. And the police then insulted me again. And, well, you're an idiot. Why would you have called him back to give the money? And that's when I got really upset. I said, you carry that big stick with you, and I think I know why. It's because something else is very small. And I didn't use those words. I used more obscene sort of words as I spoke to him. And he got angry and he beat me with the stick, and they arrested me. So meanwhile, I was not upset at all with the robber, but I was very upset with the police. They were trying to do their job, trying to he could have been more polite and more respectful, but so could the robber have been more polite and more respectful. Somehow I got very upset by the police, not very upset by the robber, because the police were showing me something that I was doing. I was being like a tyrant to myself. I was making myself to be miserable, not allowing myself to be happy. And so when they were acting a little bit like tyrants in their position of power, it enraged me, and I went off. And since then, I worked to heal myself, and I worked to forgive the authority figures. It's not even a real thing, authority figures. It's just some fictitious concept, some abstract thing, authority figures. And then any person comes wearing a uniform, I was ready to get upset. So it's a great example of how, as we practice patience, it shows us the inner work, which needs to be done. I'll share one other story, because I was then very impatient in my sadhana. As I was doing the spiritual practices, I read stories from the saints and the yogis and the sages and the yoginis about their experiences of samadhi. And I read even some of the stories of the Christian saints and their experiences of samadhi, which they call ecstasy, and also of the Sufi masters and their experiences. And I read all about it, and I kept thinking, Lord, I'm doing all this sadhana, I'm chanting all day long, every day. I just wake up, I eat a little food, and I chant mantras all day, and I'm always seeking your grace, and I feel like I don't see you, I don't feel you around me. When will I have this experience of samadhi? When will I have it? And then my guru appeared one evening. I had been chanting all day, like every day in those times. Those were fun times. I wish I could chant more now, but I'm too busy with so many of other things. But very fun times, very, very nice experiences doing the sadhana. and very intense, trying times as well. But it was all very nice, very interesting. Things were shifting a lot in those days. My sense of who I was changing. I was becoming less limited by the self-doubt and different things like this. But it was all too slow for me. So I kept complaining, I was praying, and I prayed to my guru. And one day I smelled this smell. There's a very distinctive perfume that one of my gurus wears who's from Kerala. And I smelled that first, and then I saw the white robes that she wears, like just walking by in my backyard. I was in Virginia in the USA. She was in Kerala, I suppose. But I saw her walking there, and then all of a sudden, the sun was setting, and I was performing the evening Sandhya Vandanam, chanting Gayatri mantra. Om Bhuvassuvaha Tatsaviturvarehinyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Deyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. And just watching as the sun's going down in the sky. Not looking directly at it because I wanted my eyesight to remain, but kind of looking out of the corner of my eye and just seeing the sun is kind of fading. It was that time of day, dusk, and the sun was going down, and I was noticing birds flying around chirping. The animals get more active right around the time of sunset and sunrise. And for a moment at that time of sunrise and sunset, if you're really focused, you'll notice that they stop and become silent. You can always tell when the sun rises and the sun sets because all the animals become silent for a moment. In the moments before, they become more active. In the moments after, they're more active. They're getting ready. They feel it. And if we practice, we can feel it too. But so I was noticing the birds were moving all around, and there was a gentle breeze coming. It felt very nice. So I was noticing the wind. And then I saw my guru walking. I smelled the perfume, saw my guru walking, and I became very focused on the breath. I noticed it going in and out of the chest, in and out of the nostrils. And then I started to have this experience that I had read about, that the prana, the life force, the life breath, is the life force in everything. It causes everything to move. It animates everything. It causes life. Prana is the life of God. It's the life of the life. And I started to see this prana expanding beyond the body into the atmosphere around me. I saw that it was the wind that was blowing. I saw that it was the life of the birds and squirrels and animals going around. And I saw that it was the force moving the sun. And then awareness of the body dropped. And I was having this experience I'd been asking for, this experience of samadhi. There was no awareness of the body, no awareness of an individual self. I was simply aware of myself as the prana throughout the universe, throughout the galaxy and the stars and the planets. I was experiencing this that I had read about by the grace of my guru. And I guess I was experiencing also what they call ananda. It was ananda, they say, is bliss, transcendental sort of bliss, eternal transcendental bliss. But I wouldn't describe what I was feeling as bliss. It was the absence of any emotion, absence of any thought or emotion. It was just perfect stillness. It was much better than bliss, really. It was very nice. But in any event, so I was enjoying this experience, and I don't know how long, a few seconds, a few minutes, it couldn't have been too long. But then all of a sudden the mind came back in, and I started getting these thoughts. I said, wait. If I'm the force that's controlling the planets, moving the sun, if I'm the force that's giving life to the birds, we are doomed. That the sun is going to crash into the earth, and the birds will all just probably drop dead and fall out of the sky because I am worthless. I can't even get to my appointments on time. Earlier that week, I had missed an appointment. I'm still so selfish and so greedy, and I can't do things right. I can't get to my appointments on time. That was the thought I had. And I just thought, we are doomed. If I am this, the life of the life, then life altogether is doomed. And I was terrified. I came out of this samadhi experience trembling. like visibly, literally trembling. And I didn't stop trembling for 2 weeks. I couldn't get myself to do any mantra or sadhana again for like 2 months because I was still so terrified that I'd have this experience again. my level of consciousness was not in a place to accept it. And that's, I said I'd tell 2 stories, but very briefly I'll describe a little bit a 3rd story, because another time I was praying similarly, just Lord, when I'm doing all this sadhana, how much longer will it take? And this is a question we get often from spiritual seekers, is how long will it take? How much practice do I need to do? How many more karmas is there I need to face? How many more subconscious things do I have to come to and work through and release? How much longer will it take? I need to know in days, months, years. I can do 10 years. I just need to be prepared. I need to know how long it will take. And why is it taking so long? Why can't it be now? Why can't it be tomorrow? Can't I just take a pill and then it will happen? Can't I do this step and that step? People's mind gets like this, and it's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. We need to tell the mind to shut up when it says these kind of things. How long? Woe is me. Why me? You're just wallowing in misery. You could be doing sadhana. You could be saying the mantra and making the progress. We don't know. We can't know how long. We can't know how much is still hidden from us that has to be revealed so that our consciousness can expand, that our awareness of mystical things increases, our awareness of ourself, what is hidden within ourself, increases. It's hidden. We can't know how much more because it's hidden. It's a very important part of the process for us, is we have to persist with faith even though we can't know. But people get impatient, and I had become impatient, and so my guru came and gave me an experience. They say God will never give you more than you can handle. It feels that way often when we're doing practice. Some things happen, and then sometimes things in our lives happen. Your family dies, and you lose your job, and you lose your house all at the same time because Saturn is transiting or whatever. And it feels like much more than we can handle. Sometimes you'll just be meditating. There'll be a sacred special time like Shivaratri, and a lot of stuff starts coming up, and it seems like more than we can handle. But the universe has great wisdom and great compassion and generosity, and never gives us more than we can handle. Always gives us everything, all the tools we need, all the knowledge we need, all the wisdom we need to successfully face any challenge that comes to us. But my guru came because I was feeling impatient and gave me an experience of probably 10 times more than I was able to handle. And for several minutes, I was just completely overwhelmed. Just, oh my gosh. 10 times more than I could handle. I was paralyzed and not wanting to persist in my practice and understanding exactly, perfectly well, why I needed to just wait. Why I needed to do it gradually. And that was 10 times what I could handle, but there was probably 100 times more than that I still had to work through. After that experience, I said, okay, I'll take it a little bit as it comes. I'll take it as I'm prepared to handle it. I'll take my time and work through each little step because that was overwhelming. I don't want more than I can handle. There's a good reason for everything. We prevent ourselves from the realization that we're seeking. We've got to take gradual steps to uncover the reasons why. And we've got to be patient in life. We've got to be patient with people around us. It's a great practice. The yogis can be very patient. And one more story I'll share also, just very briefly, and then we'll end this talk on Kshama. I was coming one day from the temple. In those days, the temple was in Tidewater, Virginia, and a big community, 7 cities, 1 Hindu temple, because there's not that many people, and all the people from all over India go to this same temple, and all the gods are there. It's not like in India. We've got Durga, we've got Venkateshwara, we've got Kali, we've got Shiva, we've got Hanuman, we've got Vishnu, different forms of Vishnu. We've got Jagannath, all the different popular gods from all over India, and then people come from all over India. There's people there from Tamil Nadu, people there from Andhra, people there from Gujarat, people there from Mumbai, people from Calcutta, the Punjabi people, everyone is there. Even in those days, they didn't even have the Gurudwara, so all the Sikhs also would just go there to the Hindu temple. Now they have Gurudwara down there. And so, but most of the Indian people who were coming, they did one event in the evenings, and most of the people who came to that event were from South India, and most of them were living in one city, Virginia Beach. But there was a lot of South Indian students in Norfolk, where I was living, because there was a university there. And they would come, and one of those South Indian guys was a professor in the college, and so he would drive the Indian students there to the temple. But then he was going back home in the other direction, and so he would often ask if I could drive the Indian students back to the university. And so the male students, I would drive all them back. Female students, they'd find them a different ride with somebody. And so I was riding with the car full, like 6 Indian guys, young guys, just come from India. Somehow they got the student visa and they came. And then we're driving, and there's one drawbridge there in between. And so there's usually you just drive right across, no problem. But occasionally a boat will come that's too big, and they have to open the drawbridge. And so we're in the middle of the night, and they open the drawbridge because a boat is coming through. And I was sitting in the car. We're just sitting silently, and I started feeling intense feeling of impatience, anxiety, anger, frustration, and intense a sense of impatience. And I look around in the car, and these 6 Indian guys, because they're from India, they're sitting there just smiling, like doing nothing, like looking into space. They're not playing with their telephone. They're just staring into space, smiling. Very happy, just sitting happily, silently, waiting patiently. Because the chaos in India causes people to have that experience. They have to do that. They become accustomed. But in America, we're used to everything is very high-paced. Everything is fast, immediate. We have the drive-through restaurant. We don't even have to stop to eat our food. We drive the car, and we just get the food through the window of the car, through the window of the restaurant, and we eat it while we're driving. Even now, I've seen places it's the brew-through. You don't even have to stop your car to get your beer so you can get drunk and crash your car. You can just, you're not supposed to drink while you're driving, but people do. But now they don't even have to prove they can walk to purchase the beer. They just drive the car into the place and they buy the beer. Instant gratification we're accustomed to in America. And on television, all the shows, it's very fast-paced now. You never see one scene, one shot of a person for more than a couple of seconds. And then they switch to something else because we're very, very impatient. And so after I noticed all these Indian guys in the car, they're very calm and peaceful. I looked around further, and all the cars around us stopped next to us on the bridge. Everyone is just looking very upset, very impatient. They're all tapping on the dashboard. They're rolling down their window. They're sighing in frustration. They're playing with their phone. They're looking through things in their glove box or whatever. And so they were very upset, whereas the people in India were very very happy. And so some of it is just expectation. We've got to drop the expectations, and then patience isn't really a question. We just enjoy the moment. I was walking to take the garbage can. We take the garbage can a long distance on this property, and I was just walking, and I was just enjoying walking. I was feeling the wind as I walked, and just noticing the beautiful day, and just having a great little walk to take the garbage can. It was very fun. There was no question of impatience. How long will it take to walk all the way down there? It's maybe half a mile walk in total, 1 kilometer maybe. I wasn't thinking like this. I was just enjoying, and that's what we've got to do. If we can drop the expectations, patience becomes no issue. We just enjoy everything for what it is. Okay, Om Namah Shivaya.
Thank you, Swami. We will now be reciting together the Gayatri mantra of goddess Shakambhari. Shakambhari Devi is a form of goddess Durga. She relates specifically to nourishment through plants, fruits, and vegetables. She relates to the forests, dense with plant life. She is the provider of sustenance and the vanquisher of all troubles. We have been chanting her Gayatri mantra for several years in an effort to complete 600,000 repetitions before the opening of the temple for the goddess. We only have about 100 repetitions to complete, so if you chant tonight and send in your chanting via the link that should be in the description of this live video, you could be the one to put us over the top. So briefly, the meaning of the mantra: Narayanye Chavidamahe. May we have knowledge of goddess Narayani, the divine self, the highest realization, the supreme wealth, and the source of repose for all seekers. Next line is Shakambhari Chadimahi. May we perceive through our contemplation goddess Shakambhari, who dwells in the forest, is the bearer of nourishment and vegetation, who is the power of the multitudes, who loves those who nourish and protect others, and who is the constant friend of those who praise her. The last line, Tanno Devih Prachodayate. May that goddess of radiant light, queen of the universe, impel our actions and our thoughts. The inner meaning of any mantra, however, cannot be understood by the rational mind. It is an experiential knowing which comes about from contemplating the energy of the sacred sounds and bringing our consciousness in line with the vibration of the mantra and its deity. Whether you chant with us or listen as we chant, sit mindfully so that the power of the sacred sounds can work on you and manifest their healing effects in your life.
शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात् ॐ नारायण्ये च विद्महे शाकम्भर्ये च धीमहि तन्नो देवी प्रचोदयात्
Instructions for the meditation are to sit silently, spine straight, shoulders back and relaxed. Close the eyes. Allow yourself to see the inner light of the divine radiating from your heart. If you do not see it, feel it. If distracting thoughts or feelings come into the mind, allow them to be. Witness them without hesitation, without judgment, without analysis. Allow the light of the divine to heal them, bringing deep peace and wisdom. In light, all darkness vanishes. Practice sitting in the inner light, which is bright, like 10 million suns. Let this light heal you. Invite that experience. Allow it to guide your consciousness and impel your actions for the highest good of the three realms. Om. Om. Puja is the traditional system of offerings, coupled with mantras and visualizations revealed by the sages to help people seek the assistance of divine beings in their lives and spiritual practice. Puja ceremonies can be simple, as in the case of the offerings made daily in the homes of millions of Hindus, or extremely complicated, as are the rituals of temple consecration, which require the participation of hundreds of devotees and dozens of well-trained priests. The oil lamps, fruits, flowers, water, herbal incense, and other offerings provide prana, or subtle nutrients, for the devas and other inner realm beings to send blessings to the physical realm. The sacred mantras open a channel to the inner realms. The effects of puja are powerful to bring about peace and healing. During puja, problems are mysteriously resolved, and answers to difficult questions arise spontaneously by the grace of the many inner plane beings working to fulfill our prayer, empowered by the sacred mantras and offerings. We are conducting a simple Pancha Puja of 5 offerings. These offerings relate to the 5 elements and are Pushpa, a flower, which symbolizes the ether element, Gandha, sandalwood paste, connected to the earth element, Thupa, incense, which is symbolic of the air element, Deepa, light, symbolizing fire, and Naivedyam, food, which relates to water.
Adya purvokta evam gunavisheshena vishishtayam asyam shubhatithau Shri Soma Matha Sanghasya asmakam sah kutumbhanam kshemasthirya virya vijaya ayura roga aiswaryanam abhivriddhartham Shri Shakambhari Devi Prasada Siddhyartham Yatha Shaktya Shri Shakambhari Devi Pancha Pujam Karisye Om Apa Upasprisya Om Jata Veda Zezunavama Soma Marathi Hato Nidahati Vedaha Sanah Parshadati Durgani Vishvanaveva Sindhum Duritatyaknihi Om Am Sham Shakambhari Devye Namaha Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Asmin Chitrapathe Shri Shakambhari Devim Avahayami Sthapayami Om Am Sham Shakambhari Devye Namaha Gandhan Dharayami Gandhasyopari Haridra Kumkumam Samarpayami Om Am Sham Shakambhari Devye Namaha Pushpam Pujayami Om Am Sham Shakambhari Devye Namaha Dhupam Agrapayami Om Am Sham Shakambhari Devye Namaha Deepam Darshayami Om Amritamastu Amritopastaranamasi Om Pranaya Swaha Om Apanaya Swaha Om Vyanaya Swaha Om Udanaya Swaha. Om Samanaya Swaha. Om Brahmane Swaha. Om Am Sham Shakambhari Devye Namaha. Naivedyam Nivedayami. Tambulam Nivedayami. Amritapaniyam Samarpayami. Om Yopam Pushpam Veda. Pushpavan Prajavahan Pashuman Bhavati. Chandramava Apam Pushpam. Pushpavan Prajavahan Pashuman Bhavati. Ya evam Veda. Yopamayatanam Veda. Ayatanavan Bhavati. Rajadhirajaya Prasaya Sahine. Namo Vayam Vahi Shravanaya Kurmahe. Same Kaman Kama Kama Yahmahyam. Kameshwaro Vaihi Shravano Dadhatu. Kuberaya Vaishravanaya. Maharajaya Namaha. Yo Vedado Swarah Prokto Vedante Cha Pratishtitaha. Tasya Prakriti Linasya Yah Parasamaheshwaraha. Narayanye Cha Vidmahe Shakambhare Cha Dhimahi. Tatno Devi Prachodayate. Om Am Sham Shakambhari Devye Namaha. Om Bhurbhuvassuvaha. Om Avahitabhyas Sarvabhyo Devatabhyo Namaha. Vedokta Mantra Pushpanjalim Samarpayami. Kale Varshantu Parjanyaha. Prithve Sasya Sahitni. Desho Hyam Kshobarahitaha. Brahmana Sandhu Nirbhaya. Bhagavata Sandhu Nirbhaya. Sajjana Sandhu Nirbhaya. Sarvechana Sandhu Nirbhaya. Swaste Prajabhyah Paripalayantam. Nyayena Margena Mahimahishaha. Go Brahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam. Lokah Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu. Aim Kara Hrim Kara Rahasya Yukta. Shrim Kara Gudhartha Mahavibhutya. Om Kara Marma Pradipadinibhyam. Namo Namaha Shri Guru Padukabhyam. Ajnana Nashanaya Vidmahe Jnana Prakashaya Dhimahi. Tatno Guru Padukah Prachodayate. Om Shatamanam Bhavati Shatayuh Purushashatendriya Ayushevendrihe Pratitishthati. Om Sahatna Vavatu. Sahatna Bhunakto. Sahaviryam Karavavahai. Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Shri Devi Arpanamastu.
Thank you for watching. We offer this Sangha freely. Remember to join Patreon, donate, volunteer, and spread the word about our upcoming move. Namaste.